Hello, my name is Marcus Cruz. This is Tray for Print. Today I'm going to show you how to make a simple 3D model into a printable ruin. Right, this is the default Blender start screen. Before we start, I'm going to show you two add-ons that are handy to have. So, preferences, add-ons, and then, I've already 3D-P. We want the 3D print toolbox. That's very good to have if you're going to export for 3D printing. And the second one is Bool tool. You don't have to have Bool tool, but it's much more efficient. Right. So this is the default cube, and we're going to start with it. So we're actually going to delete these two. We don't use them. Before we do anything else, let's change this clip start and end for the view. So I work with one Blender unit that it says meters, but I use that as millimeters, and this will severely hinder me in the view if I don't change this. So for instance 1 and 5,000. So screencast keys is bugging on me, so I have to tell you what keys I press. Probably easier to follow. So with the cube selected, left click. It was right click many years. A to select everything and scale it to 5 times its size. Since it starts at 2, I tab out of edit mode and check. We have a cube 10 times 10 times 10 millimeters. That's a suitable thickness for a wall. So I press numpad 1 to view it from the front, and G Z 5. G for grab, Z to move it along the Z axis, and 5 to move it up 5 millimeters. You don't have to do this. It's nice to have it rest on the bottom of the scene, or the you get it. And let's move. Select the top face. Make sure you are in face selection mode. You can press 3 to be that in edit mode, and then select the top face. 65. G said 65. Now we have 10 times 10 times 75 millimeters, roughly 3 inch. Back into edit mode. I take this and I extrude it out some. Not important how much. As much as you want. If you have a small printer bed, you can make it smaller. Now we see that we have a quite big model. Along the x-axis it's actually 171 millimeters, like 7 inches almost. Right, and this is going to be our basic shape. I also want to make some windows, so shift right click on the face, and that will position the cursor directly on the face. Shift A, add a cube, like that. Can move it doesn't matter. It's my OCD. I select the top face, GZ, because I want this to be slightly bigger. Now I can tab out, I can window hole. It's always good to have the habit to rename your objects to something that makes sense. Corner, window hole. So I select the window hole, shift click the wall. Now it has the yellow outline and this has the orange outline. I go into the bool tool menu. I've just added it here to the 3D print because it's you can do that in the settings for the bool tool. Anyway, so I can subtract it very easily, but now I lose my window hole. So let's undo that and use the brush boolean instead. Now I can keep the window hole, I can even move it. So since this is very simple geometry, it's real-time feedback. If it's more complex, it will take time to update, so just beware of that. Right, so I can still edit this, and I want an arch on this window, mainly because it's easier to print, but it's also looks cool. So right now there's a big bridging section here. It will probably work, maybe not look that nice. So, but if I select these edges and Control B, I can do like this, but I think I will do like this instead. Now we have a 45-degree overhang here. That's good. Printer can manage that. I select these two, Control B, and scroll my mouse wheel up to increase the number of segments. I will actually scale Z up, or yeah, that's good. And then I have to move it back up here, GZ. That's a nice window. If I select everything with A, I can Shift D and have another window. And actually let's move them closer to the corner, because I think I'm going to chop off some of this. Shift D, rotate with R, 90. Yeah, nice. Pressing H, I hide the windows and I have my corner. Yeah. I press the dot on the numerical keyboard to focus on the selected object. Always nifty to be able to zoom in as much as possible and center it. Right. So this is our actual object, and let's go into the modifiers. We see here that the bool tool actually just created a boolean modifier. So that's why I said you don't have to have this, but it's much more convenient. Let's Control A to apply that. You can print this now, but we are going to make it much more interesting, and this is the main focus on this in this exercise. Right, so we're going to have the floor here, but we're going to give us a little margin. If we destroy the underside of the floor directly on the bottom surface, it will be very easy to get the print to stick to the bed. So I'm going to oops, yeah, I'm going to move that plane to the world origin, tab into edit mode, scale up, right. So now if we destroy this underside, we will subtract the ground and get a flat bottom, so it will stick to the ground, to the bed. Good. Yeah, but we will do that. Let's name this ground. We will do that at the very end. But for now, the wall will protrude through the ground a little bit. Right. So first we will make this section a bit more jaggedy because it's destroyed. So I shift right click here to create the cursor, created a plane here, and I'm GY, I can do it EY, and then I can EX, and then I can actually start to make this a bit more interesting, and I think I'm going to make it like this. So this will be the shape of the bombed walls. We will add loads of more detail here, but this is the start. So if we Control R and then scroll up to give us some more options here. And the same here, we will GY here. I press numpad 3 to view it from the side. And then Control R, scroll some, GZ, GZ, GZ. Let's make it really low here. Something like that. That is the cut of the boolean, the ruin shape. But this isn't going to. You can't make a boolean like this. But we also want to give it much more definition. We want a much rougher shape. Let's move that up a little bit. So we want to give it thickness. We can use the solidify for that, but 0.01 millimeters is very thin. So how about 5 centered around, or maybe now it's going outside. Yeah, that's good. And let's make it 20 even. Yeah, so now it's plenty thick, and the inside here is the same as before. So we're just giving it a lot of thickness. So this is good. Right. I will apply this. Yeah, looks good. And now I will remesh it. This takes some time because it defaults to 0.1 millimeter. That's way too much for our needs. I think 0.5, that's good. Yeah. And now we can actually select this and shift click, select that, and difference. It's still not very interesting, but this is the shape of the ruin. We will remove these stray bits later. Now we can actually start to work with this, and let's apply this remesh. We don't want it hanging around. So we're going to do a displacement. We're going to click New Texture, and we go into the texture settings, and we want it to be clouds. And if we hide this, we see that, yeah, we start to get something here. But the pattern is way too fine-grained. So 5, yeah, 10, that's probably good. We see that now it's become very soft, and then we must increase the depth. But when we do this, we must also crank up the strength. So you're beginning to see where this is going. Yeah, we can probably go a little bit higher still. Now we can go into the texture coordinates. We can see what does it look with 5. Oop, there the boolean crashed actually. I think I know what the problem is here. So if I just for now we apply this, and in the 3D print toolbox, tab into edit mode and intersections. Ooh, we have so many intersections, and when doing booleans, intersections are bad. So we'll show you. Oh, that's not too bad, but still a problem. So yeah, so we have self-intersecting meshes here, and that's very bad for boolean. So what we do, I can just show you, it's all along the edges that are sharp. So let's undo the apply, and then we smooth out the those sharp corners. So we see here it's a little bit more smooth, but 1 is not much. So how about 50? Now it's much more smooth, but I think we can go higher still. 100. Now let's try that. Yeah, and now it worked. But I think that was I think we should go for size 10 instead. Yeah, I think this is good. And now we are working on the displacement of this ruin edge cut. Yeah. And I think this is good. So let's apply this just to save us the trouble. After the smoothing and displacement, I go into edit mode for this. I check that it's solid. That means manifold. It's must have for Boolean operations. And intersection. There are still some intersections. So neither of these are where we actually make the cut. So what we can do here is Control plus 2 times to increase the selection, and then we smooth vertices. And we can actually do that 5 times. Now we're on 805. Let's do that again. Now we're down to 179. So we saved most of them. Control plus 2 times. Vertex smooth. 5 times. 69. Now these are the last stubborn sections. So I go a bit aggressive here. Right, now we have no more self-intersection for this, we call it the ruin cut. We can hide that. We can hide the windows and the ground plane. Now we only have this one left. And so we can apply that Boolean. Center on it. And now I'm going to press L to select this main wall, and Control I, select everything else. And we don't want this, so right. So this is the first step. But let's also make the surface of this more interesting. So I duplicate it, Shift D, right click. Remesh again. Again, 0.5. We can hide the original corner. This will always be the one that we end up with. So, for the same reason, we want to smooth it again. $30, $40, yeah, something like that. We can fix it later if it's a problem. Right. Now add a displacement modifier, and that texture is actually pretty nice for the concrete. Yeah, if you're want to make a rough stone wall, you can just apply this, and yeah, you have it. But we want only part of this texture, like the concrete has fallen off in chunks. So we check, we can actually select these two and make intersect. see. So intersect means that the result is inside both of these. So here the textured version is outside the other. That means that will be flat. I think I want this slightly. I think we're going to go down to 5 here. But now it's much too noisy. But let's hide that. Where it hits the other wall. So I will add another displace and a new texture. Rough concrete surface, that's the other one, and big details, big shapes, and I don't want that to be clouds. I want that to be Musgrave. And let's see, one, you can see here that with only the Musgrave texture, much of it is still flat, but there are some holes in it. Very soft right now, but still. And if we see here, if we do an intersect right there, you see that we get these holes into. That's exactly what we want, but we want to refine this shape. We want to work with the Musgrave texture. And how deep in the holes go can be, you see here, the mid-level. We can drag it back and forth. I think maybe 0.6 something. We can see with the detail also added. I think that's too strong now. Yeah. Yeah, we will see. So size is good. I can seldom remember what these means. So intensity is how big these spots are. Octaves. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Now we want those big patches uneven. Okay, yeah, so I'm just dragging these back and forth. How big the noise is, but dimension. Oh, yeah. So I think that's 1, 2, 5. Remember, everything that's outside the flat original wall will be completely flat. So you will have to experiment with this and see what pattern you like. I script all this, and then I can make a small change to the script and just press play again. That's much more efficient. So let's bring this back and shift click the other one, and now I can make the boolean. Oh, and the boolean crashed because we get very little left. So might be that these are have self-intersection or something. So let's go into edit mode. This is another very good reason to, yeah, lots of self-intersections. So if this was a script, we could easily oh, sorry, I'm using my Q menu where I have smooth vertices. Now it worked. And I can you see, that's pretty nice actually. I think we will go with that. To change this, I would need to undo history, go back before the apply modifier. This was the displacement modifiers, and change them, and then apply them and fix the self intersections. But we will go with this. And we can actually Control A, apply it. Otherwise it will be recalculated again and again. So let's check. Press is solid. So good. No no holes. Do we have any intersection? Yeah. So this face is a little bit troublesome because it's very uneven. I mean, it has so many. I want to divide it, but I won't do it yet. Right, so let's add some bullet holes. Just rename this, and this is the chunky flaky concrete cutter, or intersection. If you want to rename something that's hidden, you can do it here, but if you have it visible, you can just select it and press F2. Bit easier, maybe. So duplicate this, right click, and bullet holes. Right, and now we're going to make a geometry node. And new. So this is the geometry nodes, all the rave. So what we first want is points, Shift A, search points on faces. And we're going to position this. Yeah. And now we have a bunch of points. They're not real geometry, they're just marked as points. And there's way too many of them if everything is going to be a bullet hole. So 0.1. Still too many, but yeah. I don't know where in this menu, so I'm going to search a lot. Instance on points. So basically we want to place one object per point, and that is going to be our bullet mark. And let's actually make one bullet mark. We're going to make a new collection, and let's bullet marks, and press 2 to work in that. We can't see these anymore, and Shift S, cursor to world origin, and icosphere. 2 millimeters. No, let's make it 4. Oops, that was subdivision. I think this is quite good, but radius 1 probably should be 2. And numpad 1 to view it from the front. Tab into edit mode, select everything with A, G, Z, and move it slightly up. So this part under the red line is what's going to dig into the wall. We will experiment, but have it this for now. And then I press 1 to go back to our original collection. Now is probably a good time to move everything we don't want. So we select the ground, the ruin cut, the window holes, and the flaky corner intersection, and we press M, new collection, archive. Yeah, 1 again. So when you move something to new collection, that collection is also visible. Now we have these objects, but they're not in the main collection. Very handy. Right, so select the bullet holes, and now drag the bullet marks to, and drag the, oh, that's a lot of bullet holes. So let's add another 0 here. Maybe. We can work with this. Just to see what it looks like. Duplicate this, hide the original, and apply this. Sorry. Make instances, realize instances. Yeah, so now that we apply this, we get all this as real geometry. Woohoo! But we see that a bunch of them are on top of each other. So now it's very handy to have this remesh. 0.5, 0.4. Yeah, that's good. Apply that. Shift click the corner and difference. Oops. Yeah. What went wrong? So this, tab into edit mode, solid. Yeah, remesh is quite trustworthy. It's always solid after remesh, and there's no intersection. Right. So this is good for Boolean. let's go to corner, and there's not much left of that geometry. We can try fast. No. Let's have it at exact. That's often the best. Tab in. Solid. Ooh, yeah. Now it's biting us in the ass. For instance, this big. So I think I have to bite the bullet and Control T, triangulate it. Tab out. No, still broken. I'm going to triangulate everything. Still a bunch of intersections. I think here is a real intersection. So this is much worse. See that? Yeah, now it's not intersecting anymore. But here we have another one. Yeah. I'm tempted to just smooth the vertices. Yeah, maybe that does it. I tab out. Yeah. Now all the holes are bullet holes. Yay! But I think they're too big. And I think they're too round. What can we do about this? Right. First press 2. And scale this down. I think about 6 is good. And go back to 1. Yeah, so now this is not the dynamic bullet holes, it's the, so like this. We can try to actually just remesh 0.4, what's it? 3. And now we have that geometry node object, still dynamic, and we can, look. Yeah. The bullet holes are still way too round, and they're all exactly the same size. So I'm thinking about some kind of cheese or something. So the first thing we're going to do is focus on this and displace. Everything we do will go into the geometry node and then into the remesh and then into the Boolean subtraction. So let's actually get rid of this for now and view this here instead, like this. So 2, we want a texture, bullet hole noise, want that to be some kind of clouds. Right, I settle on 0.1. We will see how it works. And back to this modifier and change this to... I'm going to just duplicate it, and it's exactly the same. But if we change this to global, you will see when we move it, we will get a new version. And back here, since we in this where did the geometry node? Yeah, since we're using a column. Ooh, let's click that. Now we get both for each bullet hole. So we want to separate children and hello, reset children. Now it will take one of the two. So we will have two different bullet holes. And the first one is that the rotation from the points go into the rotation of the instance of points. That way, see the bullet holes will face away from the face, and only it will basically only go that much following the red line. And we can now have some that dig deeper and some that are more shallow and some that are in between. Right, check this. If we now we see that some are barely touching, like this one here, that's barely going in, and some are digging in much more, and let's hide that one and check the boolean again. There's a bunch of ways you can tweak this. For instance, we can scale it randomly. Oh. Random vector from 0, 0, 0 to 1, 1, 1. That's so 0.8 to 1.2, and feed that into the scale and wait. .5. Yeah, that was visible to 1.5. Yeah. Let's just make one other. We're going to make a cube. Scale to, and then rotate. everything is very slow since I have the boolean running all the time. So see if I can do this. Yay! Tab out. Can you guess what kind of shape we will see here now? Yeah, we get these triangular ones. You can even make star-shaped ones. One change I probably want to do with the bullet holes is that the shape, the random value for the scale should be 0.5 to 1.5. Now we can't feed that into the scale, or we can, but we want to do combine XYZ. So the same value in X, Y, and Z, and feed that into the scale. Control space. Yeah, now everything is scaled. That looks alright, given the very basic shape of the initial wall. But that is a little intro to how I do my ruins. So we will actually, as a last step, apply this and see if we actually get some yeah, we got some non-manifold edges. So we click on all of them and they're all over the place. Z wireframe, go to 1, see that we have something there. It's very tiny, so we have to focus on it. So this is the problem with booleans, that we have a slim hole here. So we can select this. There's probably, if you see here that it's a sliver of a hole into that one. And the way we can fix this is we can dissolve it, hole is gone, but we can first, so yay, we have lots of such vertices. And this is just one, so I select all similar vertices and dissolve them. Ooh, only 23 left. I'm going to use my little add-on, Focus Island, to focus on the next one. Yeah. I'm going to take a chance that all the remaining are slight small holes, so I just press F to fill everything in. Only 10 left. Yeah, that's that was not a good face to create. So what's the problem here? So this is just a flat vertex, flat face, so it should just be deleted. This also another, just one to go. Yay! Manifold! So one thing that can be done here, if we enable the statistics, we can see that this is not so bad. 240,000 triangles, but we can always decimate it, probably to 0.5 without any change in the yeah, that's probably good. Control A, solid. Yeah, so decimate have a habit of introducing non-manifold edges. It doesn't care about things being manifold. One thing that you can do is hover over the big object, press L to select everything, in edit mode of course, Control I to see if there are any small islands, for instance inside the mesh or just floating around. Yeah, and delete them, but there were none, so I guess I have to bite the bullet and fix this. I will use my that was a strange thing. Is that actually connected to an we have 20 of those. Get rid of them. 43. So this is tiny, tiny, tiny. I can't see what it is. So I actually must increase. Yeah, so this is yet another face that's infinitely thin. It's not printable. So let's get rid of it. Back to the 3D printing toolbox. Just one left. What's this? Can it be a tiny hole? Probably. No, it's... yeah. Right. Now it's manifold. Now it's only one thing left. We want to... why did I do that? Just select the ground, move it back into the main, tab into edit mode, extrude it down, select everything. When you extrude something from a plane, it's very important that you normalize it. So Shift N, recalculate normals. Otherwise it's almost always incorrect. So why do we do this? Remember at the beginning, or we can hide this. So if we try to place this object on the print bed, this will go up from it and it will not be very good adhesion here. So we will, let's move that into our archive and just subtract the ground. Now it's very flat, very good adhesion. Now it's done. Thanks for watching.